Welcome back, subscribers, and hello YouTube viewers. This is now part 3 of our journey and adventure through Croatia, and we're off to a town called Senj. Now that's spelled S-E-N-J, and speaking to locals it appears that once again they dropped that J and it's a silent J. Now Senj is a town on the upper Adriatic coast of Croatia and is at the foothills of the Mala Kapela and the Velebit mountains. I hope I pronounced that correctly. The symbol of the town is the Nehaj Fortress, which was completed in 1558. So as I'm wandering around, it's night time. It's after about 10 o'clock at night. I don't feel unsafe at all. It's a lovely little city, even in the middle of the night. And unfortunately, I do suffer from insomnia. And it's sort of a blessing and a bit of a pain. So obviously my son's gone to bed after travelling down this way, and I've decided to do a little bit of a look-see for tomorrow morning and what we can do and what we can see. Now the little fortress on the right hand side, that's cordoning off quite a number of homes, and people still live there. Here we have the fire brigade, and my son being into all things mechanical and vehicle or transport related. He's doing an apprenticeship in mechanics, which is fantastic. When we first arrived, he could not stop but look at these things, so I thought I'd put it on film so I could remind him of our trip. So here I am going inside the historic wall, and I assumed that there would be nothing there other than sort of old ruins, but sure enough, people live there. I think they're allowed to structurally make their property sound in relation to electrical works and plumbing and new roofs, and you'll see that when I fly over with the drone that yes, they do have watertight roofs so they can live here. It appears quite scary, but no, it's not at all, and you are allowed to wander around. These are just like regular streets, but obviously very narrow just to walk around. I felt extremely safe, and I don't think anyone should really fear anything walking around here. And also the bonus was this particular historic wall that people are living behind is just across the road from the police station. So if there was any fear, I'm sure the police would come running, and there's plenty of street lights to let you know where you're going so you don't trip or fall on any of the cobblestones. So Senj, that's spelled S-E-N-J with the silent J, is a historic walled town and is the largest town between Zadar and Rijeka. In the 16th century, it became a base for the Uskoks, which were Croatians driven from their homes by the Ottoman invasion. The Croatians were a feared fighting force, continually provoking both the Turkish and Venetian vessels with their own private fleet painted black and red, the colour of death and blood. Senj was a thriving town in the Roman province of Dalmatia, used by the Romans as a stronghold against the Illyrians in the 2nd century BC. And gee, I hope I pronounced that one right too. After the fall of the Roman Empire, the Avars and the Croatians eventually settled here in the 17th century AD. The Catholic Diocese of Senj was established in 1169, and the King of Hungary gave the town to the Knights Templar in 1184. In more recent times, and in the fall of 1943, during the Second World War, when fascist Italy capitulated, the partisans took control of Senj and used it as a supply port. Subsequently, the Luftwaffe started bombarding the town. By the end of the year, they had demolished over half of the buildings in town and inflicted heavy casualties among the civilian population. Primary industries are fishing, boating, hospitality and tourism. In addition to the beaches with crystal clear waters, which is throughout the Croatian coastline, you can enjoy diving, sailing, fishing, hiking, hunting or cycling, and not forgetting the great traditional food with the friendly restaurant staff that speak English as well. And we did come across a gentleman who was just fantastic. His English, or command of the English language, was terrific, and he was most accommodating to my son and I, and we actually got him in the video, so you will see him come to our table, and he was just an absolute terrific guy. Now, other things of interest for prospective tourists are that we only used Airbnb accommodation unless we stayed with family, and the average price for us, and this is the off-peak season, so it's after sort of October, I guess. We were paying 80 Australian dollars for my son and I per night, and the car hire for 3 weeks ended up being $24 a day, and that was for a brand new 2022 Renault Clio. We initially booked the Fiat 500, knowing that many cities and towns would have narrow streets, and that was the case. I actually would have preferred to have the little Fiat zooming around, as we also noted quite a lot of people were driving around those smart cars, or even smaller. So it's a toss-up on whether or not you want a slightly larger car or a smaller car. If you're travelling on they're not autobahns, but they're the tollways where you can do your 130 k's. You obviously want a bigger car, but we didn't choose to do that. We just ran right along the coastline where it was free to travel on, and to be honest, the small cars were ideal. Also, the small cars made it extremely easy for parking. As you can see, this car just here on the right, that white one, you'd never get another car in there. It was so narrow that you had to do like a 50-point turn just to do a U-turn in some of these places. But lucky for us, when we did our homework and research, we looked for Airbnbs just slightly out of the actual old part of the city, if that makes sense. So you've got the old part and just around the boundary, which is still walking distance. The homes and the roads are slightly wider, and they offer free parking, and that's exactly what we did. We looked for places that offered free parking with the Airbnb, which I think is very important to make sure you include when searching for accommodation. So I'll let you go, and I'll let you see what else we got up to, and me babbling on about the township of Senj. So here we are nearing the end of this video. We will be staying in this area for 2 more parts. So there'll be a part 4 when we go to that fortress that's on the hill there. And I also go visit with Alexander, my son, to an abandoned hotel, I guess is what it is. And you'll see with my previous videos, we do like visiting abandoned things. We find it quite fascinating. So they'll be the next 2 that come up, and it'll be in this area. We spent about 4 days in Senj, and I think 4 days is plenty for this town. And once again, if you did enjoy the video, by all means, hit that like button or that thumbs up button, and please subscribe. Subscribing doesn't cost you 1 cent, and it really helps out the channel immensely. But most importantly is stay safe, commute safe, and have a great day.